What's going on, you guys? Welcome on back to the channel. Now, today we're going to be talking about something a little bit different. We're going to be talking about Hell's Paradise and the utter redemption that it has had as a show. Now, what do I mean though when I say it's had a redemption? Well, we're going to have to take it back to 2023. Now, it's 2023 and I've just started watching Hell's Paradise. I got maybe 5 to 6 episodes into the show and I just had to completely drop it. I got up to the point of like Shion taking Nurgai away, and I just stopped. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was just like the production, but man, nothing was clicking for me. Like the action wasn't clicking for me. The emotional beats that were supposed to be like connecting with me just weren't resonating at all. And the final nail in the coffin for me was when Shion was taking Nurgai away, and you see Tenzo looking on, and Shion running away is just a walking PNG shot. At that moment, I was essentially done with the show. That was the straw that broke the camel's back in a sense. And I was like, okay, you know what? I'm done. I'm officially done with the series. And I didn't think about it for like 3 years, right? So from 2023 up until now, I hadn't really thought about Hell's Paradise. But all that changed when I was scrolling through Twitter one day and I see a clip from Hell's Paradise. And it's the Chobei and Toma fight. And I could not believe what I was seeing. The animation was something that I never thought the series would ever get. The fluidity of actually the animation was what impressed me the most. So I was like, you know what? Fine. I'm gonna crack. I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna experience the material. But I didn't really want to experience like the material in season one again. I felt like if I went back and I watched season one, I was immediately going to drop it again. So I did a different approach and I went and I read the manga. Manga is so much better. I read the first 45 chapters that cover the season one material. Light years better. The action's better. The paneling makes it so much better. Like the emotional moments actually resonated with me. So the manga is the way to go for season one material. And then once I was done with that, I was ready to hop into season two. Now, season two, I was a little apprehensive though at first because I was still worried that the beginning of season two might look like season one, and I could have been in for like the same experience again. But as soon as I got to the Gabimaru and Chobei fight, all of my fears were immediately alleviated. Literally all of them. That fight is so perfect to me. In my opinion, that is the fight that like rejuvenated my hope in the series. Gabimaru's fighting style looks so good in the anime now. Like I love his fire. I love how it looks. The fight is just so good. Like I said, the fluidity of the animation is perfect. Like you can tell, like they use this fight as a way to show, yes, we've heard you from season one. Here you go. And the animation just took a step up. So after that fight, we then transition into them being in the cave for a little bit. And while it has slowed down a little bit, what I like too is that it allows for them to kind of explain the power system now in a way that makes more sense. So we get to learn so much more about Tan and all that. We get to learn about like the different type matchups, and I like that. I like that a lot. And also, you have to like. I had to love like the character dynamics that were being forged within this little stretch. Because it honestly helps too for what goes on later in the arc now. Now, after that, though, we then get to see more about characters like Gabimaru specifically. And I like, too, that his Amnesia plotline didn't last as long as I thought it was going to. I like that it was over pretty quick because I don't really like Amnesia plotlines. But this one was actually good because they were able to take it and utilize it in a way that the only way he was able really to fully get his memories back is by remembering his wife and showing that even though Gabimaru forgot everything, his wife is still there in the back of his mind. That I loved so much, and it honestly helped to make Gabimaru an even better character in my eyes. Now, and also, dude, Shion is so good because, like, on the surface, he looks so calm and composed, but dude, underneath the surface, you can tell he has like just rage boiling for what happened to Tenza, and you're just waiting for all that rage to come out. Now, moving on from that, we then move on to essentially the raid on the castle and them looking for the elixir so that way they can get off the island. And what I like is that everybody's split up, but they get split up in a way that you wouldn't expect. So you would think the strongest member of the group that's in that group would have the type advantage. Like say Shion has the type advantage against who they're going to be facing. Not necessarily. Like Shion is essentially at the type disadvantage, and then newer guy is the one that has the advantage. So I think that creates like an interesting dichotomy. Like the person you thought is going to be the strongest isn't in that moment. Like the roles are flipped. So I think that's really cool. And now it's time to talk about the fights. It's time to talk about the fights and how great they are. Like, I'm not going to talk about Gabimaru's because Gabimaru's is still ongoing. I think that fight is going to be adapted in like the next episode or something like that. So we're not going to talk about that. Let's get right into like Chobei and Toma's fight. That fight to me, like I said before, that is the fight that rejuvenated my hope in the series for me, right? Like even though it's kind of short and all that, but like I said, the fluidity of the animation, how it all looks, the compositing, you can tell that they actually put a lot of work into that fight. And dude, like I said, it's the fight that essentially like sparked everybody's hope back in Hell's Paradise because I don't think I'm the only one that thought season one wasn't that great. So when Chobei and Toma's fight like officially hit the waves, like everybody's like thoughts on the series changed, and mine too. Now I'm actually a fan of it. So this fight is so important in so many ways. Now I want to talk about Gantetsusai and Fuji's fight. That fight, I love that fight. That fight might be my favorite out of the ones that I've seen so far, solely because you can tell the animators simply love Gantetsusai. You can tell he's their most favorite character to animate solely because of how they handle like his fight. Like the animation feels like evolves every time he fights. Like the aspect ratio change, the art style changes. Like it's so good. Like I love the creative choices and the creative liberties that they took with his fight from the manga. Like I went and I saw like some bits and pieces of from the manga. They elevated it. It's so good. They make it such a good fight, so enjoyable. And then like dude, the big moment where he takes out his own eye so that way he can see the Tan properly. It's so good. It's so well animated. Like like I said, he's clearly their favorite character to animate, and it shows throughout the whole fight. And then, dude, you then get to learn more about Taofa and Jufa. And what I like about them as antagonists is they kind of become sympathetic antagonists in a way. Like, you learn that Taofa and Jufa are essentially forced to commit the act of like Buchu Jutsu with each other. And you can tell Tao Fa does not want to do that in the slightest. You can tell that she's essentially traumatized by what they've had to undergo, but they're being forced to do that in order to learn more about the elixir, learn more about the properties of it, learn more how they can essentially make it. So you can tell that after a certain point, she's just traumatized. So Jufa, in that essence, now is trying to do everything he can to essentially save her. So that's what makes the fight all the more compelling. They're trying to beat Gantetsusai and Fuji so that way they can essentially get the elixir and essentially save Talfa. That's what makes the fight so much more complex in my opinion. I love that a lot, and it just makes their fight so even better. Now, moving on from that fight, because that fight was even better too. Like, dude, especially when they were taken out, like I could feel the emotion like in that moment. So A plus to that. That's one thing that I like about Hell's Paradise too. Like the deaths for the villains all feel really good so far. I'm a fan of that. But moving on from that, let's talk about the most recent fight that's been fully adapted, and that is Shion versus Jujin. This fight is only one episode, but it feels like something that has been building throughout the whole series. right? Shion has essentially been harboring this rage and anger against Jujin for killing Tenza for so long now that when you get to this moment in the show, when we finally get to this episode, it feels so cathartic because you're finally seeing Shion get to exact his revenge in a way. But in the end, we then find out that from Nuragai that Tenza didn't want him to get revenge for him. Tenza was essentially at peace with everything that had happened. So it creates such an interesting twist that I honestly didn't see coming, and I loved it so much more, and it makes the fight even better. Now, I think that's going to do it though for talking about Hell's Paradise. Like I said, my history with Hell's Paradise was very complex and complicated, but dude, after reading the manga and watching the anime, I've grown to love this series so much more than I did before. Like, I've grown to appreciate it in such a different way. So now I'm just looking forward to the next Gabimaru episode where we essentially get to see his fight come to a close. So very much looking forward to that. Thank you guys for joining me for essentially talking about Hell's Paradise and how I learned to essentially appreciate the series. And I think that's going to do it for me. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Did you guys think similar to me, where you guys didn't really like season one, but then you learned to like it over time by essentially reading the manga? Or did you guys always love the show? Let me know what you guys think. Like, comment, subscribe. And as always, I'm going to talk to you guys next time. Bye.